Yes, good morning, Nigeria. We are back. We are back to bring you the we're back to bring you the vibes, dope narrations, intellectual conversations, dissections, and analysis on the illest show streaming live on television, Tea Time, brought to you by PlusTvAfrica. My name is Lydia, and of course, I never do this alone. With me is the ever stylish, ever graceful Mololuwa.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling like let's just get to the end of the day.
Really?
Yes.
Already?
It's been a long day and it's 10:20. Yeah.
I understand. I woke up feeling quite tired this morning, and at least thank God it's Friday, so of course we'll be able to rest over the weekend.
God, please.
And of course, we can't do the show without you, so join the conversation online at PlusTvAfrica. So because today is Friday, we're going to go straight into our trivia. And we have a couple of, let's say interesting questions, or at least hopefully they're interesting to you. So the first question is, why are Nigerians in general not really environmentally conscious, recycling, conscious about, noise pollution, all those kind of things. Like, why?
You tell me. Because when I got here and I saw the way people littered, I was like, what?
It's
people literally like wind down their car windows. For me, it's when like you can put something somewhere and just leave it till you find a bin. But then you intentionally like find a way to put it on the floor. Why? I'm just like, if I have something that I want to throw away and I can't throw it away at the time, I'll just put it in my bag or whatever it is. And then when I find a bin, I'll put it in the bin or I'll ask someone for a bin. But even sometimes when you ask people for a bin, they're like, I'm
throw it on the floor.
Can you? That's why roads are flooding anyhow.
I'm telling you.
It's blocked.
And I think it's even worse. I think if you were walking, I would kind of understand. But people that literally have cars, you could just leave it in your car, but then they'll wind out the window and they'll dump it outside.
I've heard of people that they literally take their dustbins in their houses and they throw the rubbish like outside on the road street.
Are you serious? I didn't even know that was a thing.
I'm just like, what in the world?
I don't know.
It's terrible.
It's really bad actually, and even now it's been raining a couple of days, and you'll see when especially here on the island, when it's starting to flood, you'll see them. They'll start when everywhere is flooded. They'll start cleaning the gutters and everything, and then they won't even pack the dirt up. They will just leave it there, and then it will rain again and go back in, and they'll have to pay people again to. So it's almost like a never-ending cycle. So we're doing environmental last Saturday of the month, and then it's like all the other days. It's just a repeat of, I don't know.
I don't think we've grasped the concept of like pollution and of global warming here. I think in our heads we have bigger problems.
And I think that's also part of the problem. Like to a large extent, we can't really relate to. Would I say like major national? Maybe because we can't relate to a lot of the natural disasters happening. So, Nigeria, there are no earthquakes now or there are no tsunamis. So everybody just carries on. They'll say, it's enough flooding. We'll get over it. How many floods have we had? So I think...
Even that noise pollution one, I mean, I'm glad to see sort of like the government bodies actually cracking down on that. Because I think earlier this week, I think they shut down Chief restaurant because of noise pollution. So I guess it's good to see that things are actually being done. On the other hand,
I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't so much of because it's we're environmentally conscious per se. It's just more of you guys are disturbing neighborhood like.
That's noise pollution now. That's
yes, yeah. But at the same time, I just feel it was just more of a. Would I say from not necessarily, I'm trying to look for the word.
A formality or what?
A kind of, or just maybe just exerting like the influence kind of thing. Like, just don't want you guys here, or you guys are just making noise, that kind of thing. But anyways, we'll move on. I hope, in the nearest future, Nigerians become more environmentally conscious.
Not in the nearest future. Start today. It starts with you and I.
Actually.
Start now. Don't litter. It's terrible.
Don't litter. If you have trash,
and
keep
other
in
things, don't make noise and all the stuff. If you're gonna have a party or whatever, you need to ask your neighbors and say, oh, I'm gonna do this, is that okay? Or whatever, like don't just, come on now, be a civilian, I beg. Anyway,
Wisdom.
Rant over.
All right, we're going to move to our second trivia question, which is, in general, what does the world, but also, of course, in the Nigerian context, what does the world have against vegan/vegetarians?
Like you said, Nigerians, as if we even consider vegans or vegetarians in this place.
Okay,
I don't even think it's a conversation here.
Really?
There
are. I've met a couple.
You met vegans in Nigeria? Really? Wow. Okay. How's that for them?
Well, I think, well, to be fair, there are people that can actually, would I say, like, afford the lifestyle. So, they probably don't really feel it as much, but if you want to go all, exotic, buying various range, we're not going to deny the fact that it's actually pricey. And generally, food prices these days is not, but I don't think that they mind so much. They'll just eat, or if it's eba, they'll eat their eba and the vegetable, just no protein, or they'll eat tofu.
I mean, there's a school like that, university like that, right?
Yeah, Babcock. So, I went to Babcock as well.
Oh.
Yeah, so, but then they're more of the, I think, is it like ovo-lacto? So they're not vegan.
Okay.
But then, like they do egg and they do tofu. They don't do like fish or meat. They don't do animal protein. At least on for the general food, there are places where you could buy, like a guest house. But I think, like, in general, Nigerians just feel like you're just eating grass or something like that. And I mean, vegetables are good for your health.
But balanced diet is also good for your health. Because
I know I've even heard this. I've heard a lot of people say that, like, really, if you look at vegetarians and vegans, I mean, sure, they're healthy, but they don't really. Because I'm not implying no, but what I've heard, they would say things like, "Oh, they don't really look fresh." Like,
I'm not sure about that.
Exactly, I don't know about that. But they'll be like, there's just they just feel like, oh, there's something off. Really? So generally, I don't even mind vegetarians per se, but I have issues with vegans. Why? Sometimes I feel like they just do it for clout. Sometimes, I mean, some people are genuine, or maybe they're just doing it for health concerns or something. But some people are just like, oh, save the animals. Like, we need to. And like, do you really care about, the goats that much, or do you really care about cows that much to, forsake? I mean,
forsake.
It's true now to forsake, because in our own culture, we already know that. Protein is essential. You can't even serve a guest food and not serve them.
Insult.
It's an insult. So you understand, and then somebody is now coming. Oh, you need to, save the animals. Conserve the planet. All those kind of. I feel like that's the angle most of them are always coming from, and it's just so. It's just like, whoa, I beg. Like, we have bigger problems.
Wow, Lydia.
I have bigger problems to face. So, no, genuinely, I genuinely like vegetables. I won't lie, I do like, but I don't know if it will be up to the point of becoming vegan or because, I love lamb so much. I'm like, let's just split into two. So if there are like 500,000 lambs on the planet, let's eat 250 and then conserve the other 250. I think that's fair enough. I mean, it's like the circle of life thing from Lion King. So I mean, fair enough. Anyways, and we'll move on to our last trivia question, which is, who exactly started the mainland/island war, and why is it actually a thing?
Bro, like the elitism of living on the island. I'm just like, we were talking about this the other day, earlier in the week, with Abdul Salam and Priscilla on the show, where they were talking about how how guys were feeling a type of way because if they tell a girl that they live in Ikorodu, she's going to judge, like she's going to stop talking to them. I'm just like, really?
Yeah, it's a thing.
But why? What is it? What is this about? This island that you have to swim. If you don't
I'm
have to swim on this island, then don't even bother. Like, I don't. What is it exactly about the island that's so elite? I don't know.
I just feel, same here. I feel generally both sides have their, pros and cons. So, I mean, here, people have said, okay, like being on the island, definitely like more, more fun things to do.
Okay.
I think that's like the major hype about it. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, probably like the lights, the electricity is
better, really?
I stand to be corrected,
okay.
but I think it's a bit better.
Okay.
So I think those are the, major, what I say. But then, I mean, on the mainland, they have like practically speaking, they have like
a better setup.
Yeah, like they have a better road network, so you don't have to, okay, you can't come to third mainland, you go through this or that, I forgot the name. There are multiple, but it's like here, if you're not going through Lekki Express, there's only about 2 or 3 more, maybe 1 or 2 more access points. And that's why you'll see that any small thing, there's already traffic. So, I don't know about, maybe like the light situation or anything like that, but I feel like each side, they have their like pros and cons, and people really should stop comparing. But people just feel like Lekki, and it's just interesting because I think like years back, Lekki wasn't even so
really,
it wasn't like all that.
Okay.
I mean, let me say, okay, maybe not recently, like maybe like 10 years ago. Let's just say roughly about like 20 years ago. It wasn't, it wasn't all that. I mean, a lot of it was still just like, like sand and, somewhat undeveloped and all that. And then now it's like, okay, trying to get a house and you're hearing all these outrageous prices. It's the island, or you're telling someone you come from the island and all of a sudden, you must have money or something. They don't even know that you're, paying a ridiculous amount for like rent. And let's not even talk about the actual, property or the actual space. So
I get that though. And maybe also a lot of jobs are on the island.
True.
Maybe. Like a lot of sort of big corporations are based on the island. They have their headquarters on the island. So maybe that also attracts that level of sort of status or class. Okay. But honestly, give me a house in like on Adeni Jones any day, man. I'll take it. Give me a house in Magodo, like I will take it. If you're watching, I don't mind. You can gift me on the mainland. I will take it.
Please, you guys should gift Mo. She has worked for it.
Gift
she has earned
me
it.
On the mainland.
Anyways, those are all the trivia questions we have for today, and we're going to move swiftly into our stories for today. Our first story is on Sean Diddy Combs. And the music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has lost his appeal to be granted bail on sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Despite claims of harsh prison conditions, a judge denied his request, citing the severity of the charges and concerns about witness tampering. Combs, who pleaded not guilty, faces accusations of manipulating and abusing women for sexual gratification and using his business empire to facilitate criminal activities. His lawyer has denied all wrongdoing.
This guy, boy. When it rains, it pours.
Yes, definitely. I'm surprised he actually did ask for, minus
bail.
Okay, yes.
Well, he has to continue to prove his innocence. Now, if he's going to claim innocence, he can't plead guilty.
That's true.
So, yeah.
That's true.
I'm very glad that he was denied bail. Although it's not like he's in prison with the rest of the prisoners. I think they put him in like a special sort of unit by himself because of the fact that he's a public figure, and they think that it would be like a sort of, how do they put it? Like, it'd be like a sort of stamp of like status or power if any of the prisoners managed to hurt Diddy. It would be like, okay, cool, like, yeah, I'm now the queen bee of this prison or whatever. So they put him aside for his own safety. But people like that, do they even deserve? Anyway, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Yes, exactly. I think I don't know. It's just like the whole thing is just going down a rabbit hole, and I just really hope that justice is served. If he truly is innocent, which I really don't think so, but if he truly is innocent and if he is proved innocent, I don't think so.
Like they found also, I'm just like, what? it must be an illness. It must be an illness because no, he has like how many, like 7 children or something, like 4 daughters. I don't know how you physically like perpetuate like evil on other people's children. I don't know. I feel like I'm not even a parent, and I can only imagine. Do you know what I mean? Doing that kind of thing. But then now, you know, being a parent and knowing that like you have children that are going to go out there in the world, and like you're doing this
to children.
Not even whether they're children or adults, they're somebody's child.
Yeah.
And the fact that like you are, I just think it's, like I say, it can only be an illness to me, because how can you like hurt somebody's child and then go home to your own and tuck them to, like I just can't even put it together. I think they said they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil when they raided his. I'm just like, this guy has gotten away with it for way too long, and it's spiraled clearly out of control. But I really, really hope that, like you say, justice is served, because it can't run. Just because you have power or you have status or you have fame, whatever it is, doesn't mean that you should be able to sort of be above the law. And so, I mean, Cassie, I think she was arguably the one that kind of started this whole snowballing of Diddy being called out. And I hope she's okay as well, because I think the mental like impact of this could be quite, you know, it could be a lot. So, but Diddy, man, like...
And even his children, I just wonder, because they're also, you know, he has these twins, I forgot their name, and, you know, they're really out there, and I just wonder, you know, what could be running through their minds, like, and it's so, I feel like it's always a lot for children, because on one hand, you know, to them, you know, like, oh, you're an amazing father, you know, you do the best and all that, and then on the outside, people are like, we are supposed to lock your dad up, and, you know, if they were even kept as private figures, you know, it's different, okay, they would be able to process things better, but like, they're already so out there, and everyone knows them, and, you know, people will want information, paparazzi, all sorts of things. So it must be a lot for them. That's the only you know, aspect of my own sympathy. But I really do hope that justice is served appropriately.
Amen to that.
We're going to move on to our next trending story, which is also about another public figure, Nicki Minaj. She has disclosed that despite living in the United States for many years and paying millions in taxes, she's still not a US citizen. The rapper arrived in the country as an illegal immigrant and has spoken out against the Trump administration's immigration policy. Minaj's experience highlights the challenges faced by immigrants seeking citizenship in the US. I'm shocked. I think I'm just actually finding out that she, you know, she's not a US citizen, or she hasn't, you know, received her or gained the status of being a citizen. And I think it's more shocking because, and I'm not saying that, of course, because she's a celebrity, she's above the law or anything, but I just thought that it would, you know, be easy because, you know, I think, I don't know a lot about, you know, like the immigration policies and stuff like that, but I felt like, you know, at least being, you know, in the land for, you know, naturalization for a couple of years and, you know, based on, you know, like, you know, actually, I feel like low-key, maybe the status would have actually elevated the process faster. But then hearing that, you know, she still isn't.
I mean, I think with America, it's after 5 years of having like permanent residency or something, you can be, you qualify to become a citizen, something along those lines. I know there's something to do with 5 years and permanent residency. I think it's something along those lines. So maybe she, I don't know, because it doesn't really follow that she would have applied for citizenship and been denied, especially given, like she said, like how much she has, I'm guessing, I'm not her accountant, but how much she has pumped into the system in terms of taxes and all that kind of thing. So maybe she just hasn't applied or something. Like it could be as simple as that, I don't know, because we don't have the details about this kind of thing. And I don't think that, on what basis would she be denied? I don't know. If she's living in America, she's been living in America.
She's even married to an American, so I'm surprised.
Yeah, so maybe it's a personal thing that she hasn't really come out to say in terms of, I don't know.
Maybe she hasn't applied
or something along those lines, because it doesn't really follow to me.
But the thing is that if she brought it out, I feel she wouldn't just be saying it like, oh, like, I'm still not a US citizen, unless she doesn't, derive, unless she doesn't really want it, or she doesn't, derive joy in actually gaining that status. I feel if she's bringing it out and even mentioning the issue of taxes, because we all know that, taxes are like a big thing in the US. So I feel, maybe it could be that she has applied and everything, and maybe, I don't know. But I mean, if it's over, she's been there for definitely up to 5 or even over 5 years. So,
Well, anyway, I guess she's trying to console everybody else. I don't feel bad. If you recently jackpot and you still don't have, don't worry.
Actually.
And even me too, I don't have.
Me too, I don't have, so. Well, I hope, if she really wants it, definitely she wants it. I hope she gains her status as soon as possible. So we're going to go on a quick music break, and we will see you after the break. Don't go anywhere. Back from a very brief music break for today. And we hope you enjoy the, little tunes that we put out for you just to get you moving. So let's move on quickly to the rest of our stories. And we're starting off with the Serbian judo athlete, Nemanja Majdov, has been suspended for 5 months by the International Judo Federation for violating religious codes by making the sign of the cross during a match at the Olympic Games. Majdov has expressed his disappointment with the decision, stating that his faith is a personal matter and that he will not apologize for his actions. Despite the suspension, Majdov remains committed to his faith and plans to return to competition in the future.
I didn't even know that there was such a thing.
Me too. I honestly, I didn't. And I also agree with him. Like, it's a personal thing. So why is it such a big deal?
Well, I mean, arguably it's a personal thing, but it's a public platform. So if it's personal, then maybe do it personally.
But at the same time, but I feel like, at the same time, it's just, how do I say this? I feel people should be allowed to express themselves. It's not like he went to, each person and was, sort of just trying to inflict his faith on everyone. It was just, from a sign of, a place of victory and just, appreciation to God and everything. That is what he believes in. Yeah. Other people, that don't, maybe they're not religious or they have certain beliefs that drive them or something. They are very loud and proud about it, or when it comes to maybe like the issue of race or something, and maybe, there's some sort of like a racial code or something, they will be vocal about it and all that. So why is it a crime to,
and even the Olympic opening ceremony and the sort of, do we call it depiction of the Last Supper, at least as it was interpreted. Apparently that was never the intention, but even that seemed to be a take on religion, although it was on the other sort of side, in the other kind of way, not necessarily upholding, I suppose, the sanctity of religion, but arguably diluting it. So truly, if the Olympics were going to start on this note, then you are in no position, arguably, to be dictating to anybody how they would want to present their own religious beliefs, especially when it's harming no one. But I mean, that's really the world we are living in these days, where a lot of, because I think religion is even a protected characteristic, which is basically something that has to be sort of, protected by the law. It can't be discriminated against or can't be harassed by virtue of your religion, your age, and very many other things. But if he signed like a contract or something like that, that had this on it, then
would be that he would have to comply.
Yeah.
But I mean, in general, I just feel, and of course, again, no shade to whatever they did at the opening ceremony. But it's also like, if you look at people that are supportive or passionate about like LGBTQ and all of that, they're very out there, and you wouldn't tell them like, oh, if let's just assume that waving hands was like something that was just a sign of solidarity with that community, you wouldn't tell them to not wave. But then it's and I would say slightly a bit personal, like I don't know why it's always when it comes to Christianity. Like, I feel like I've just noticed this trend over a couple of years. When it comes to Christianity, there's always that, oh, don't show your belief, don't, you know, and I think it even makes it worse for people in that community because they're already having a hard time because people have so many questions. You hear things like, oh, you know, like, oh, if God exists, like, oh, why is the world so blah, blah. So they're already even having a hard time, you know, like affirming their faith and all of that. And then someone comes out to be confident and then it's like, oh, we're now they're, you know, sort of shutting the community down or, you know, just, I don't know. I just feel like when it comes to them, that's when there are always all these gray areas and, oh, they're starting to feel like, oh, they're doing too much. I mean, I personally, you know, I just feel like that's his personal belief. He didn't do anything, you know, so grand to have said that, okay, he was, you know, breaking like a code of conduct or something. I don't know.
I'm glad that he stood by his sort of belief and said, you know what, fair enough. If you're going to suspend me, you're going to suspend me, but I'm not going to change, you know, where I stand. Sometimes, well, my mom always says, if you don't stand for anything, if you don't stand for something you'll fall for anything. So, yeah, man, sometimes you just have to say, well, okay, that's what you think, but I'm going to stick with what I believe.
Standing with you, Mr. Mashed Up.
Yes, sir.
Definitely standing with you.
Same.
And of course, we're going to move on to our last story for today. And we're ending with Mark Zuckerberg, who has revealed how he responded to his 7-year-old daughter's dream of becoming like Taylor Swift. During a recent podcast interview, the Meta CEO shared that he discouraged his daughter's aspiration, emphasizing the importance of originality and authenticity in the tech world. Zuckerberg explained that he wanted his daughter to strive for her own unique path rather than following in the footsteps of a popular celebrity.
I like that.
I think I like that too. Yeah, I think Taylor Swift is a great person. You know, regardless of her political stance at the moment, but you know, I think I like the fact that he's encouraging originality.
Yes.
It's very important because a lot of times, especially as children, you know, they'll grow up trying to be like another person, you know, they'll look at all these other celebrities and they'll almost start copying their lifestyles. I know a lot of people, just for example, this country, especially people like, I don't know why it's particularly him, you know, like 001, Dave, you know, you see all these other people, they're just bringing up from somewhere. And the music style, you know, the dressing, sometimes it would have almost even gotten to the lifestyle, if not because we know that you can't compete where you don't compare. But then, you know, like every single thing, you know, or the way, and even apart from Davido, there are other people too, like Yinka Efele. You see some other people too, you know, the way they do the lyrics, the way, it's almost the same thing. And it's like, I mean, it's nice, or it's, would I say, somewhat even commendable that you are able to do something like that. But, you know, you could also invest that much time in yourself and your own, you know, creative abilities, and don't just live in the shadow of, I mean, fine, it's good that you can have like mentors and people that you admire and look up to, but then, you know, there should be something about you that makes you, not just, oh, we always having to you know, associate you with somebody of greatness. Like, you should also aspire to be a person of greatness too.
Yeah. Hey.
And of course, this is where we draw the curtain for today. But thanks for watching as always. And don't forget, you can always join the conversation on social media with the hashtag teatime, and you can also catch up on our previous episodes on YouTube at PlusTvAfrica. A big thanks goes to my co-host.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mo, for being on the show today, despite all the odds.
Oh, we made it.
You made it here. Thank you to the crew, the production team, and thank you for watching PlusTvAfrica's Tea Time, and we'll see you next time. Bye.